very sophisticated computer models that help the architect planner to improve the environmental quality in the town. So for example, Singapore is in the tropics, so we want to encourage the breezes to come through. Through computer simulation, you can actually position the blocks and the public spaces and the parks in such a way that help you to achieve this. Singapore does very long-term comprehensive planning, and that is very important. You are looking at the development of Singapore 40 years ahead of time. And this is important because it ensures that we have sufficient land safeguarded to meet all our development needs.
Singapore is planning decades ahead. In such a land-scarce nation, the question is often not what to build, but where to build. Singapore's Urban Redevelopment Authority is in charge of identifying the future needs of all Singapore's land. It's the kind of challenge that draws in the adventurous and the curious.
I'm very much an urban person. The city is close to my heart, and even more so having worked in detail on the plans over the last 20 over years.
For Andrew and the URA, sometimes that work means creating land from nothing, a process known as land reclamation. Since independence in 1965, Singapore has used reclamation to increase its land mass by about 23%. One of the most striking examples of this, and perhaps a vision that cities across the world may adopt, is Singapore's Marina Bay, a vast engineering project that has been decades in the making.
When I first started work with URA, Marina Bay was just a vacant tract of land. It was only maybe 10, 15 years ago that we actively started development of the area.
Andrew was part of the team that drew up the plan for Marina Bay and translated it into reality. Its development dramatically increased the footprint of Singapore, but it was designed with the needs of its citizens in mind.
The traditional central business district just comprises of office space, then is only used 9 to 5 days a week. So as we've planned Marina Bay, we've also looked to bring in complementary uses. So the idea is you create a mixed-use precinct that the activities carry on 24/7 and 7 days a week.
To make the round-the-clock Marina Bay model work, the URA needed infrastructure. In land-scarce Singapore, that meant going underground, using precision-designed layers of essential services, including water and electrical tunnels, pedestrian and commercial spaces, transportation infrastructure like highways and subways, and even telecommunication superhighways. These hidden underground systems have been designed to meet the needs of Singapore for the next 50 years. But some in Singapore are looking beyond that, already imagining the cities of the far future.
I actually think that the future of Singapore is not just about increasing the density around transportation nodes of activity. I actually think it's about exploring air rights as well.
Jason Pomeroy has grand visions for his city. The award-winning architect of Singapore's first zero-carbon house, the Bee House, his designs are pushing the boundaries of how Singapore might look more than 50 years from now.
Think about creating structures over roads, over motorways, topping up above existing structures. The rooftops today might be Sky Court, Sky Gardens of recreation.
If cities expand upwards into the skies, conventional methods of road transportation may no longer be effective. Perhaps the future of urban transportation will play a major part in shaping the way we live.
And then all of a sudden you're going to need to think about how to get people up there. If you were to fast forward 50 years from now, we already see drone technology becoming so advanced. Why are we not sticking people into those drones? Again, a bit like Blade Runner. All of a sudden, your sky courts, your sky gardens, even your private terraces to your condo is actually a landing platform for your own personalized drone.
Though the idea of us flying to work may be decades away, drone technology is advancing rapidly and could become integral to the evolution of transportation in the cities of tomorrow. In Singapore, the government has thrown its support behind an advanced program to test the limits of drone capabilities in the world's rapidly expanding urban environments.
Yeah, we will release the drone.
Skyways is Airbus's project that is exploring this urban air delivery domain, or basically cargo delivery with drones project. The drone that we're using is actually fully customized or fully designed by our team here in Singapore.
To ensure maximum safety in the air, the drones have multiple aerospace-grade navigation systems, so that if one system malfunctions, it can rely on others to fly to its destination.
The packages that we can deliver by design today is up to 4 kilograms. What we understand is that 4 kilograms would cover perhaps about 80–85% of all the packages that or parcel deliveries that are done today.
Once the package has been delivered to its slot, the mailbox automatically sends a personalized code to the customer, so they can pick up the package 24/7.
And just like that, parcel comes back. In Airbus, one of our visions is what we call urban air mobility. So flying taxis, for example. Skyways is about enabling this technology. It's about looking and moving towards a future where we have then a flying transportation means in an urban setting.
Singapore innovators are imagining and experimenting the what's next for urban travel. Drone technology may be the next revolution liberating commuters from their two-dimensional travel. But the challenges facing all of our cities may be more elemental than where we will build and how to get around. Providing food and water for the millions of people that will pack into our urban environments could be the biggest challenge yet. As urban populations rise, the world will face unprecedented challenges. How to house, transport, and most importantly, feed its people. In the future, as rural populations decrease, ensuring food stability will be key. In land-scarce Singapore, it's a challenge that is already being confronted.
Right now, 93% of produce is imported into Singapore, and that's because there just simply isn't enough land to do farming practices.
Benjamin Swan came to Singapore as an engineer on the Marina Bay Sands project. But having fallen in love with the city, he recognized a challenge and an opportunity to help the nation towards its goal of food sustainability. Ben is developing a new way to grow food, not just in Singapore, but in any urban environment.
Sustainera is a controlled environment agriculture farm. We effectively replicate what's happening outside in nature to grow impossible products in impossible places.
Singapore is a trailblazer in this technology, having opened the world's first commercial vertical farm in 2012. Now Sustainera, through their patented processes, are able to grow produce indoors, without sunlight and without soil.
What we actually have done is we've come up with our own system here to introduce the seeds directly into the foam cube. So what that does is ensures that we have 100% germination success. This room has been specially designed to take the plant from its initial germination through to a mature state where we can introduce it into the main grow rooms.
These large-scale growing rooms are astonishing feats of agricultural technology. The precision calibration of the growing environment allows these new-age farmers to optimize cultivation at every stage in the plant's growth.
We control the air temperature, the humidity, the light durations, the light wavelength. We control the dissolved oxygen in the water as well as the carbon dioxide saturation in the air.
In these closely monitored growing rooms, Sustainea is creating food history.
First ever Singaporean grown strawberries. We're actually growing 3 varieties in this room. What we've learned through controlled environment agriculture, we can actually emphasize certain characteristics of the plant. So without using GMO, we can make our kale softer. We can actually make it sweet. A lot of the Singaporeans don't like their products to be bitter. So we took it into our R&D lab, and what we found was by manipulating the air temperature and humidity and also the wavelength of light and the growth cycles, we were able to create this great product that we're growing today.
Not only is this farm able to produce vegetables perfectly calibrated for Singaporeans, but the techniques could provide vital farming areas for the densely populated cities of the future. Traditional land farming grows produce outside on a flat, linear area. Sustanea's system grows food inside, in any building, expanding agriculture's footprint up into the sky.
So what vertical farming means for places like Singapore that has very little or has land scarcity is that we can leverage buildings to grow product. And with the efficiency that we have within our footprint, we believe one day that we could actually produce enough produce indoors to sustain Singapore's demand.
Fresh, available food will be a necessity in our cities, not only to feed citizens, but also to keep them healthy. As populations age and the incidence of diabetes continues to rise across the developed world, Singapore, like all cities, needs to encourage its citizens to eat smart and well.
We wanted to deploy food and beverages as a tool to manage. It could be health, it could be wellness, it could be performance, and of course also for fitness as well.
Believe it or not, these colorful sculptures are edible. They are the creations of Dr. Lee Man Wai, a scientist at Singapore Polytechnic's Food Innovation and Resource Centre. Using the latest breakthroughs in technology, she is creating food tailored to the exact caloric and nutrition needs of Singapore's senior citizens.
We wanted to look at personalized nutrition for a target group of people. So what we started off is basically looking at people with different lifestyles or otherwise looking at people with different health conditions.
To realize her vision, Dr. Lee collaborated with bioengineer Mark Wong to build a piece of wearable tech that can monitor a person's nutritional requirements.
What we have developed here at Singapore Polytechnic is what we call the InterSense system. It's in a form factor of a watch. The app, it's pulling data from the wearable. So this data can then be fed to algorithms to compute specialized individual nutrients that are customized for that individual. So a 3D printer could then use this data and print out the appropriate nutrient values suitable for that individual.
Dr. Lee's system is one of the first of its kind in Singapore, and perhaps the world, to pair wearable tech with 3D printing to create food with personalized nutritional values.
This particular printer actually has a beautiful way of allowing us to customize nutrition. So there should be probably a chicken rice that is actually high in calcium, some that is actually good for potassium and different types of vitamins and minerals that is a custom.
While still an experimental prototype, the potential is staggering. This jelly packs a punch with the necessary nutrients for optimizing health and even preventing diseases.
With greater sets of data from each individual, we can now create a whole library or database and identify trends by using machine learning or using AI. So that is extremely powerful in the near future, to be able to predict potential health issues and mitigate those health issues in population centers before events occur.
Through imaginative planning and technological innovation, Singapore is finding new ways to house and feed its growing population. But perhaps one of the biggest challenges facing any global city will be ensuring a constant, safe supply of that most precious of resources, water. Singapore currently uses 2 billion litres of water a day. The most efficient source of fresh water is rain. And to capitalise on this resource, the nation is crisscrossed with an extensive network of rivers and canals that channel every last precious drop of rain into 17 storage reservoirs.
About 2/3 of Singapore is a water catchment area. That's about 400 plus square kilometers. So water that falls on a catchment area, it will find its way into our drains and canals, which are linked to one of our reservoirs.
Singapore's catchment system is extensive and efficient. But to collect rainwater, you need land, and lots of it.
Singapore is a small island, so we are limited in terms of the catchment area that we have. And also now with the changing weather patterns, the water coming from rain, it's a bit unpredictable. So we've moved on to more weather resilient water sources like desalination.
As the world warms, every city will need to find fresh solutions to provide their citizens with clean water. In Singapore, the Public Utilities Board is already looking to the future, experimenting with new techniques to push the water potential of the little red dot. Looking ahead, our cities need to overcome a variety of challenges. Rapid urbanization will present problems of growth, housing, and food sustainability. But none may be more crucial than the access to fresh water. Singapore currently imports about half of its daily water requirement. In the next 3 decades, though, the aim is to ensure water sustainability. To do so, planners